1981. Passion and dedication, as well as sense of responsibility for the nature and environment among the students, started Flamingo Nature Club in 1983 with all colleagues. Collaborated with Botany Natural History Societies, that is BNHS, and Forest Department for conducting several indoor and on-field programs. Collaborated and then left for the United States of America in the year 87 to join as research associate for teaching and research project in biology department, University of Iowa, City, USA. Started writing articles on nature and environment in Marathi language. Returned to homeland in 91 and continued teaching services in Bandhodkar Science College. Opted for voluntary retirement in 11 to join postgraduate department environmental sciences in KJ Somaya College of Science and Commerce, Vidya, Mumbai, working as a visiting faculty in the same institution post-retirement since 2019. Non-academic and environmental activities, I think, which are close to his heart. Dr. Joshi is one of the founder member of an environmental NGO called Paryavaran Dakshata Mandal, working in Thane for past 25 years, currently holding the post of vice president in this organization. Dr. Joshi was involved in setting up a common biomedical hospital waste treatment disposal facility of EnviroVigil in Thane for Thane Municipal Corporation in 2001. He is editor of Apla, monthly publication of Paryavaran Dakshata Mandal, dedicated to nature and environment. National Advisory Committee member, National Solid Waste Association of India. Dr. Joshi is on editorial board of an international bi-yearly magazine, Waste Monitor, published by NSWAI Mumbai. He has written over 900 articles related to nature and environment, mostly in Marathi language, published in a variety of print media like newspapers, magazines, etc. Currently, Dr. Joshi is writing a weekly column on waste management every Saturday in English newspaper, The Perfect Voice, published from Thane. His book titled Katha Jaivividtechi Pravas Jeev Shrishticha is recently published in hands of former Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Professor Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh and Dr. Madhuri Pijevar, ex-principal B.N. Bandhodkar College of Science, Thane. He has presented more than 200 national and international conferences on topics mostly covering the global warming and climate, sustainable development, urbanization and environment, municipal solid waste, biomedical waste, biodiversity conservation, etc. Gets invited frequently as a panelist or for an interview by Mumbai Doordarshan Sahyadri channel, ABP Maza, Z 24 Hours, TV9, Air Mumbai, etc. to talk or discuss about prevailing environmental issue. One such interview happened just recently on 2nd July 23. It was a live telecast on Mumbai Doordarshan Sahyadri channel. Welcome you, sir, with such a background. We are very excited to hear you. Please start your talk. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such an elaborate introduction. I really feel privileged and honored to be a part of this gathering. I just saw the slides that were flashing on the screen. There have been so many eminent speakers and scientists on this particular platform. And now I got the opportunity to be a part of this gathering, this platform. So I'm really honored and privileged. Thank you very much. I thank all the members of Indian Women Scientist Association for giving this opportunity to present this very important topic, that is electronic waste or e-waste management. what are the challenges and opportunities, especially in India. It's a very important and essential topic to be discussed among the masses. And community participation or community involvement is very, very crucial and very important in this. So thank you very much once again. Now, before I start my presentation, I would just quickly introduce my NGO, that is Paryavaran Dakshata Mandal. We have set up this NGO in Thane in the year 1999 to spread awareness among the masses regarding degrading environment and biodiversity, waste management, and all that. Because managing the waste is a was a big issue, and even now it is not completely resolved. But we decided to spread awareness among the masses, school and college students, and the community in general regarding water conservation, biodiversity management, waste management, energy management, and so on. And we to do this, we started one informal school of environment for children as well as for adults, and now it has become an open school. Anyone can join. We are conducting online sessions on various topics which are related to nature and the environment. A few projects which I would like to highlight is it was mentioned in my introduction that we had set up a common biomedical waste treatment and disposal facility in 2003, and we were receiving the segregated waste as per the norms from various hospitals in Thane city and even the surrounding area, Mira, Bhainder, Vasai, Virar, and even from Pen, Alibag, and all that. Later on, because of some restrictions, our total area of operation was reduced. And recently, due to some more uh, regulations, we couldn't continue this activity further. We had to close it down. But we were running it quite efficiently, and it was going on very well. But due to certain issues, we had to close it down. Apart from that, we were given 50 acres of land, barren land, by the Forest Department, Government of Maharashtra, near Titwala. Uh, and within 7 years of time, we were able to plant more than 30,000 indigenous trees, indigenous varieties of the trees. And it has now grown into a beautiful jungle, a beautiful forest. It is close to Titwala Mahaganpati temple. We all might be knowing about that. And one more piece of land is now given to us by that Ganpati Mandir Trust, and we are developing that also. So these are some highlights which I would like to mention about my organization. We are still going ahead with full force. We have got dedicated people working with us, and they are doing a very great job spreading awareness among the masses. Uh, so with this, I would like to start my presentation now. Okay. So this electronic waste management, electronic waste, when we talk about e-waste or electronic waste, it basically covers everything that we use in the form of variety of gadgets these days. So uh, so basically we know that we are very much dependent upon variety of electronic devices for communication, for work, for education, for entertainment, and all that. And these have become quite indispensable for us, from smartphones to smart home devices and electric vehicles, electronic and electrical equipment. These offer instant communication, provide unlimited information, and optimize the tasks. So we all are aware that every facet of our life is now dependent upon all these digital or electronic devices. But then this rapid growth has a significant consequence. that is the increase of end of life electronics, what we call as e-waste, or waste electronic and electrical equipment, WEEE, waste electronic and electrical equipment. The volume of e-waste has skyrocketed due to the fact that equipment becomes obsolete faster due to the constant innovation, and the drive for more advanced, faster, and smaller gadgets is growing. We have developed a kind of appetite for new gadgets every now and then. Every year, some new and advanced technology uh, makes something new gadget, new phone especially. There have been several versions of smartphones, as we know, and the people have a tendency to go for a new one. And in the process, even if the older one is working well, uh, or maybe there might be some fault, some error, we don't want to get it repaired and use it over and over again. We just want to discard it as it is and get a new one. uh, Now once it is, many times the people have habit to store that old device in their home. They just put it in a drawer or in the cupboard, and maybe after a few months or years, when the house is to be cleaned, they will take out all those cables and wires and even the remote controls, the mobile phones, whatever that has been dumped or stored in the cupboard. And then what to do with that? Simply throw that in the dustbin. So that is a general human tendency. We do not directly throw the things in the dustbin, but somehow we have a tendency to keep it, store it. But then at the end, we cannot store it for a longer time. We have to find the place to dump new devices, which have come in the. Because of this tendency, the volume of e-waste is increasing tremendously, and it has literally skyrocketed because of this. And this equipment become obsolete fast enough. I mean, sometimes I feel that the manufacturers or the producers make the devices, so that their life is shorter, so they can promote newer devices. Uh, what are the sources of this? The major sources of generation of e-waste are practically universal, and we all are aware that a lot of waste is generated in these various sources: homes, offices, schools and colleges, hospitals, industries and factories, cars and other vehicles, banks, and various other financial institutes, and IT and software hardware industries. These are the biggest generators of the electronic waste in all over the world, not only in India, but all over the world. You can see the same thing in the form of this graphic. So these are various sources. If you look at the composition of e-waste, what is e-waste made up of? Basically, computer equipment occupies about 68% of the total volume of electronic waste. So because large number of, again, as far as the computers are concerned, sorry, I've got a bad throat. Please bear with me. As far as the computers are concerned, again, there are updated versions of laptops and computers every now and then. Uh, Many times the hard disks, they simply, die due to some reason, and then they are to be discarded. So computer equipment accounts for about 68%. Telecommunication equipment, about 12%. Electrical equipment, all kinds of electrical gadgets, right from uh, fans, table fans, tube lights, and all kinds of electrical equipment, even the ovens, microwaves, everything. It accounts for 8%. Medical equipment, a lot of electrical and electronic gadgets are used in the hospitals. So these equipment account for about 7%, and all others, including household e-scrap, account for about 5% of the. These are the figures available from the report by ASSOCHAM 2018. But even now, there is the no change as significant change in this statistics. Actually, if you look at a laptop, for example, if a laptop is discarded as it is, what we are throwing out along with it, this graphic tells us about it. About 30% plastic, it goes into the dump. Then there are metals. All these components, the motherboards and printed circuit boards and all other components of these electronic devices have number of metals, and some of them are rare earth minerals, which are very difficult to get. So there is copper, about 20%, then palladium, 0.01%, iron, then nickel, strontium, lead, aluminium, zinc, silver, refractory oxides, and gold. Okay. So there are some precious metals like gold, silver, palladium, etc., and some heavy metals. Even cadmium, chromium, selenium, all these heavy metals are found incorporated in different parts of the electronic gadget, whatever gadget that you use, whether it is a mobile or television set or your laptop or computer, whatever electronic gadget that we use, it has all these basic components. This is the basic composition of these various gadgets. So there are precious metals like silver and gold, as well as palladium. And when we discard, so you can imagine when we discard one laptop, uh, then you are basically discarding these or wasting these heavy precious metals along with the heavy metals. And to get these metals, the mining is required. So there is a uh, when we discard any electronic or electrical gadget, we are not only discarding that particular gadget, we are discarding various kinds of resources which have been put into, making that particular gadget. Okay. So metals account for about 60%. Then plastics, 15.2%, metal plastic mixture, cables, screens, CRT, cathode ray tube and LCD screens, 11.9%, PCBs, 1.7%, others, 1.4%, and then there are pollutants. I'll be talking about hazards, environmental hazard due to illegal discarding of the e-waste shortly. So these graphics tell us about what is the electronic gadget or device made up of in general. This composition is general. There could be specific composition for different types of gadgets. Okay. Uh, we all are familiar with these terminologies, different various components or parts of the computers. A computer has a motherboard, switch mode power supply, RAM or random access memory. Then there is a hard disk, processor, capacitors, integrated circuits, main board, magnetic touching sheet, CD drive, diodes, etc. Then, so this graphic just gives the overall idea of what are various components of a computer. Then mobile has a little different uh, components. There is a lens for camera, internal antenna, aerial, speakers, loudspeakers, earpiece, microphone connectors and all that. Then buzzers, ringers, charging blocks, chassis, slide mechanism, ribbon cables, SIM slot covers, readers, backup and all that. Battery clip covers, battery contacts. Now, of course, there are so many new versions which are updated where the batteries are no more used in the mobile phones. In the old versions, still have the batteries, of course. Then television set has capacitors, resistors, transformers, integrated circuits, tuners, condensers, color picture tube sockets, Zener diode and normal diode, etc. So this is just to give overall idea to understand what are various parts or components all these electronic devices made up of. Again, this is a graphic showing different parts or components of a television. Now, the crucial point, why it is necessary, or why it has become necessary to think and talk about managing the electronic waste. Earlier, it was not a big problem, or we did not assume, or we did not understand that discarding the electronic devices could pose a great threat to the environment and ultimately to the human health. But now a lot of research is going on, and many new updates are coming in this particular area of electronic waste. What is happening around the world, and then what is happening in India. So according to United Nations Global E-Waste Monitor 2024, this is a recently published report by United Nations, a record 62 million tons of electronic waste was produced in the year 2022. And in that comparison, it has increased up to 82% from 2010. So between 2010 and 2022, almost within a decade, the electronic waste volume increased by 82%. Another 32% is on the way, which will go up to 82 millions. As far the current trend is going on, it has been predicted that by 2030, this will go up to 82 million tons. So you can imagine the huge and humongous volume of waste that we all are generating all over the world. Billions of dollars worth of strategically valuable resources are squandered. They are dumped, as I mentioned. It is not only the money, but we are, affecting, or we are utilizing or over exploiting rather the natural resources, because in order to make all these devices we need the raw material, and we procure raw material directly from nature in the form of natural resources. Just 1% of rare earth element demand is made by e-waste recycling. uh, the 62 million tons of e-waste generated in 2022 would fill 1.55 million 40-ton trucks. Just to put that into perspective, this number is enough to form a bumper-to-bumper line of trucks encircling the equator of the Earth, according to the report from ITU, International Telecommunication Union, and UNITAR, that is United Nations Industrial Training and Research. So these organizations are working day and night, collecting data from all over the world and putting it in front of the people for them to understand that it's a need of the hour now to control the utilization of these electronic devices or gadgets, and control converting them into waste products. As far as India is concerned, between 2019-20 and 23-24, e-waste generation in India has increased by 73%. And India has become third largest generator of e-waste in the world. First is US, second is China, and now India is the third largest. So it is among top 5 countries of the world who are generating a greater amount of electronic waste. In 23-24, India has generated 1.75 million metric tons of e-waste, of which computer equipment makes up about 70% of e-waste in India. Now, in this graphic, you can see state-wise, and in this, Maharashtra tops, our own state of Maharashtra, tops the list. So Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh are leading e-waste generating states in India, and the reason is quite obvious. Uh, even Karnataka should not be missed, because there are a large number of IT hubs and IT industries in these states, and therefore the volume of electronic waste generation is much greater in these particular states. It's not, yeah. Now, in that comparison, of the total amount of electronic waste that is being generated in India, only 22% is being recycled. So what happens to remaining 78%? It all goes. I'll come to that a little later. So in the absence of any robust facility for recycling, but of course, lately, within last 3, 4 years, we have seen a tremendous growth in the recycling industry, authorized recyclers in India, and therefore I hope that within next decade, this number or this percentage would increase significantly as we are having more and more recycling industries coming up. So as of now, this is the state of affairs of the total affairs of the total amount of volume of e-waste generated. Hardly 22% is getting uh, recycled with proper scientific recycling methods. Okay. Now the challenges that we face are tremendous, multifold, manifold challenges. Most of the electronic devices that are put in the dustbins at homes or in the offices or whatever sources that we have seen earlier, most of these electrical or electronic devices ultimately end up in a common dumping ground. You know, all the cities, all the towns, all the villages in India have a common dumping ground. There are hardly few places in India or few urban local bodies in India which have built up scientific or engineered landfills where they do not allow any electronic waste to enter in. They take proper precaution and all that. But in general, we can see that open dumping of all kinds of waste, mixed waste, I would call it heterogeneous waste. Everything is put together, the kitchen waste, solid waste. Hello? Yeah, everything is put together and ultimately it is. Hello?
Please mute your mics. Vivo 1920. Yeah, thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you can start now. They have
Okay, okay.
done it.
So dumping of this e-waste in open dumping ground is a common practice. We see it everywhere, whenever you go to a dumping ground with all other articles from our house, maybe cardboards, papers, plastics. Plastics are in quite large volume. You can see the electrical or electronic devices also, that is the e-waste. And when it remains for a longer time on the dumping ground, all these heavy metals and other toxic components, they leach from this e-waste. And in the process, this leachate that is formed is highly toxic because it contains the heavy metals like cadmium, mercury, lead, and so on. And uh, eventually, they contaminate the soil as well as groundwater. They all seep through the soil, enter the groundwater, and groundwater is contaminated. Uh, it has a direct and indirect effect. Direct effect on the environment, obviously, due to contamination of soil and groundwater. Then burning is very commonly seen in these open dumps. So the fumes, the toxic fumes that are released, they they are highly toxic and they have direct impact on the human health. However, extraction that is usually performed by children is a crude and hazardous process that goes unregulated. Now, as far as e-waste recycling is concerned, when you uh, take your laptop for recycling, what they will do first, they will first dismantle it. Okay. They will separate the plastic, they will separate the glass from your monitor, they will separate all the internal circuits, components, the keyboard, the buttons, and everything. They will separate it. That is called dismantling. And after dismantling, the respective components will be sent for recycling. Now, at the first step of dismantling itself is very crucial for proper management of electronic waste. Unfortunately, in developing countries like India, this dismantling is not being done properly. They are using very crude method of dismantling in which the children are involved. And, to give one example, there is a place called Silampur, which is on the outskirts of New Delhi, and it is home to India's largest electronic waste dismantling market, where nearly 50,000 people scrap out a living extracting metals. So they visit the dumping sites, they extract the metals, all these electronic scrap, and they dismantle it. Many of them are children who earn a living by dismantling, extracting, and recycling the e-waste. Here is a story of these two boys, Arbaz Ahmed and his friend Salman. They sift through this dumping ground, carrying a big plastic bag and breaking apart circuit boards and other parts of devices with their bare hands. They don't use the gloves because they don't know what is the toxic impact of this electronic waste on their body. They just want to earn money for their family. So they break apart circuit boards and other parts of devices with their bare hands. They burn the material on the roadside to extract metals without wearing any protective gear. The duo sells the valuable metals they have managed to extract for around $6 or so, 5 pounds. This, of course, this number will vary. Definitely, this value will vary depending upon the current market rate. But they are among thousands of children who burn toxic metals, including mercury, lead, and arsenic in the street. This massive industry at Silampur is informal and unregulated. This is the biggest challenge we have in India. Although there are rules and regulations, still the, the volume of e-waste that we receive or that we generate and receive is tremendous, and therefore it is impossible for regulatory authorities to keep a check on this. Although it is a well-known fact that this is happening in that area, but still it is not possible to regulate that. So e-waste contains valuable materials as well as hazardous toxins, which make the efficient material recovery and safe recycling extremely important for economic value as well as environmental and human health. In this graphic, you can see uh, the e-waste is disposed, it is discarded, finds its way in the, it is destined to end up at the dumping ground. Adversity caused by incineration, landfill disposal, and all that. So waste, air, and soil pollution, even groundwater gets polluted, as we have seen. It has a direct impact on the human health. The heavy metals are released from polluted soil, air, and water. They, they leach into the ground, contaminating the groundwater, and again affecting the human health. So whatever dire consequences that are there on the environment, ultimately the human health is at stake. And there have been number of incidences where the humans have, literally developed different forms of cancer and many other, life-threatening diseases due to exposure to this burning of e-waste in open or, unregulated, unscientific handling and dismantling of the electronic waste. So the discrepancy in the amount of e-waste produced and the amount of e-waste that is properly recycled reflects an urgent need for all stakeholders, including the youth, to address this issue. Now, this is a table just to give you the overall idea of what are the hazardous effects on the human health. Selenium, high concentration causes selenosis, which results in hair loss, nail brittleness, and all that. Arsenic, we all know, long-term exposure may cause lung cancer, nerve damage, skin diseases. Beryllium, it can cause lung cancer, chronic beryllium breathing difficulties, and chest pain. Barium can cause brain swelling, muscle weakness, heart damage, and so on. Mercury, we know very well what are the adverse impact, effects of mercury on human health: kidney damage and central nervous system damage. Cadmium, long-term exposure can cause kidney damage and bone density decreases. And also it is a carcinogen. All these chromium, lead, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which is also found in the plastic waste, trichloroethylene, PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, dioxins and furans. These are released as the toxic gases when the plastic components of the e-waste are burnt in open. So all these components of the electronic waste are extremely hazardous to the human health, and therefore they must be managed in a proper way. It's just a graphic. Okay. Now, there are various options, various alternatives and options that are being worked out, how to regulate, how to control this electronic waste, volume and all that. So one of the options that is being worked out is the circular economy. You all must be familiar with the circular economy model, which is an alternative approach to the traditional linear economy, in which we take the procure resources from nature, make the artifacts from those using those resources. The resources will include the fossil fuels and many other things which are needed for manufacturing of that particular article, particular material. Then we make it, we use it, and then we dispose it. So that is a linear economy. It doesn't come back into the system. Whereas circular economy model emphasizes importance of keeping the products, materials, and resources in use for as long as possible, thereby reducing the environmental impact of manufacturing and disposal. And this model offers a promising solution to the growing e-waste challenge by prioritizing the sustainability, resource efficiency, and responsible consumption. You can see in this graphic, this is how the circular economy model generally works. So manufacture, then use it and put it back into the system by through recycling. So after recycling, recycled material can be used again over and over again. So by embracing circular economy principles, stakeholders can mitigate environmental risks which are associated with e-waste, promote a more sustainable approach to electronic consumption, and pave the way for resilient and circular future. So it is imperative for society to collectively adopt and implement circular economy practices to address e-waste crisis and build a more sustainable world for future generations. So as a community, we need to work together to solve this problem. These are the challenges. I have already spoken about informal recycling. There is inadequate e-waste management infrastructure. Import of the e-waste is still rampant. About 80% of e-waste cross-border flow of waste equipment into India, 80% of e-waste in developed countries meant for recycling is sent to developing countries like India, China, Ghana, Nigeria, etc. For example, United Arab Emirates, UAE, is the largest exporter of electrical and electronic waste to India, with shipments amounting to 39,000 metric tons in 2022 and so on. But of course, now there has been a lot of restrictions on this transboundary movements of the hazardous waste. So e-waste management is regulated by robust legislation now. Earlier in 2003, for the first time, the Hazardous Waste Management and Handling Amendment Rules of 2003 covered the hazardous materials which are present in the electronic waste composition. In 2011, specific rules for e-waste management and handling rules came into effect. These were amended in 2016, where they introduced the concept of extended producer responsibility, EPR, and producer responsibility organization, PRO. E-waste management rules 2022, there was one more amendment in 2018. Then the rules were modified in 2022. The title was changed, E-waste management rules 2022, aim to promote a circular economy through EPR regime. Then there was another amendment in 2023. The major provisions include more clarity to the exemption of reduction of harmful substances, determination of conversion factor of EPR, management of refrigerant by the producers. These are some legal, I will not go into much details of this. Then recently, e-waste management amendment rules have come into force in 2024. Major provisions include relaxation of timelines for filling of returns or reports by manufacturer, producer, refurbished or recycler for a period of not exceeding 9 months. These are some provisions in this rule. Central government can establish one or more platforms for the exchange or transfer of EPR certificates, etc. CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, and State Pollution Control Board. These are the regulatory authorities. I was talking about transboundary movement of the hazardous waste. The management of hazardous waste came on the international agenda, environmental agenda from early 1980s. In 1980s, in Africa and other parts of developing world, received deposits of toxic waste imported from abroad. Following this, there was a huge public protest. And in response to this, Basel Convention on Control of Transboundary Movements of Hazardous Waste and their disposal was adopted on 22nd March 1989 by the Conference of Diplomats in Basel in Switzerland. The convention entered into force on 5th May 1992, and as of 1st Jan 2011, there are 175 parties to this convention. As per the latest available data, there are now 191 nations of the world who are party to this convention. India ratified this convention in June 1992. So all these parties are now legally bound by these various provisions related to transboundary movement of the hazardous waste. And now e-waste uh, has also been incorporated into this treaty or this convention. Now, what is the producer's extended producer responsibility? It is basically an environmental protection strategy that makes the producer responsible for entire life cycle of the product, especially for take back, recycle, and final disposal of the product. So these are various, under this e-waste rule, producers are required to obtain authorization from State Pollution Control Board or Pollution Control Committee for their e-waste management activities. They need to establish collection centers or take back systems. And in India, there are some companies like Wipro or HCL, which have proper collection centers for, collecting this electronic waste. These are the key aspects of compliance for e-waste. Along with extended producer responsibility (EPR), consumer awareness and participation is also very crucial. Authorized recyclers and dismantlers play a very significant role in compliance of these e-waste EPR policies. EPR policy is quite significant. It helps in prevention of pollution, helps in resource recovery, creation of jobs, and so on. So looking at all this picture, we feel that everything is gloomy, topsy-turvy, and it is disastrous. The answer is yes and no. Yes, because what we are experiencing or observing just right now, currently, is definitely disastrous, not only with the electronic waste, but all kinds of waste. The waste management systems in India, although there are rules and regulations which are very stringent, take the example of biomedical or hospital waste. In spite of having stringent rules, we still find the cases where the waste from the hospital is, it is found lying on the common dumping ground and all that. So this situation could be improved by creating awareness and improving infrastructure of recycling units along with the prevalent policies. There are number of recycling units. Now in the state of Maharashtra, as of now, there are more than 200 authorized recyclers, but out of those, only 10 companies they have got full recycling equipment. All others are authorized dismantlers. So they dismantle the things and give it to the recycling industry. So e-waste recycling, which involves recovery of valuable materials from discarded electronic devices, has emerged as a promising solution to the growing e-waste problem. So there is a solution. Only thing is, these e-waste recycling companies need the raw material, which can be given by the people like you and me. Okay, so we have to organize e-waste collection drives. I know that many of you must be doing this. Many schools and colleges, many residential or housing societies organize e-waste collection drives periodically. I know one particular example. There is a society called Marathon Era in Lower Parel. All elite people live there, and they have got excellent system of waste management, especially segregation. They do at every point, whatever waste that is generated is segregated. They segregate metals, they segregate electrical devices, they segregate electronic devices, they segregate cardboards, plastics, all types of plastics, plastic pouches, plastic bottles, everything is segregated at that level. And they're doing wonderful work. So these kind of community initiatives are very crucial and important. We need to reach out to those recyclers. Recyclers will come to your place if you organize a e-waste collection drive. They will come to your place. Uh, because of the lack of time, I will not be able to give the details of recycling units, but maybe I'll share that with uh, IWSA, and maybe they can. What are the recycling companies in and around Mumbai? At least we can initiate such e-waste collection drives. So cheer up, there are still rays of hope, and you and me can do a lot for saving the planet. So let us follow a few representative stories of successful use of e-waste. Everything is not gloomy. There are many examples or case studies, I would say, from which we can learn a great deal, and we can, cheer up ourselves. You all must be remembering that Tokyo Olympics were held in 2020. They were scheduled to be held in 2020, but because of the pandemic, they were held in 2021 with the motto "Be Better Together for the Planet and People." And that year's Tokyo Olympic was extraordinarily eco-friendly. Okay, but I will not talk about other eco-friendly arrangements they had made. I'll restrict myself only on the how they manage the electronic waste in Japan. So for that year's Olympic and Paralympic Games, about 5,000 medals were made from recycled small electronic devices that people across Japan donated for the project. The Japan Olympics Committee stated with pride that 2020 Olympics were the first in history to use recycled materials and the first Olympics to get locals involved in the process. Additionally, the trays used to hold the medals were made from recyclable thermoplastic polymer. The Olympics are far from being good thing for the environment, of course, because we know a lot of infrastructure is required, a lot of energy. It is energy intensive uh, game, but it is nice to see that at least some efforts are being made. Now let us see what they have done with the medal. So 2022 medal project was an official and highly ambitious Tokyo 2022 nationwide participation program. 100% of the metals required to manufacture approximately 5,000 gold, silver, and bronze medals were extracted from small electronic devices contributed by people from all over Japan. Collection period was from 1st April 2017 to 31st March 2019. Approximately 78,985 tons of electronic waste was collected by municipal authorities across Japan, used small electronic devices, including mobile phones. Approximately 6.21 million used mobile phones collected by local shops across Japan. There was 90% participation from cities. This is very important. I found this very interesting and important. People came forward from every small village and town and city. So 90% participation from cities, towns, and villages across Japan. They came up forward and donated all their used devices for this cause. And see what they got from precious metal. Following precious metals were retrieved to make respective medals. They could get 32 kilograms of gold from these many tons of electronic waste which they obtained. Then 3,500 kilograms of silver, 2,200 kilograms of bronze. Okay, so this is something we should learn from. And recently, you all must be remembering that Uttarakhand had hosted national games 2025, and there also they had used electronic waste to make the medals. So medals that were given to the winners in these national games are made from electronics. So India has also taken this initiative, and I'm really glad that we are moving ahead at least. But of course, in this Uttarakhand example, the people participation was not there. They asked the recycling factories, recycling units, to donate the gold and silver and bronze which they retrieved from during their recycling process, and from that they made these medals. But here in Japan, there was a public participation. That is the only difference. But again, we are moving ahead in this path. So these are the medals made exclusively from the electronic waste: 32 kilograms of gold, 3,500 kilograms of silver, and 2,500 kilograms of bronze. This is very interesting graphic that you can see here. This is actually a map of South Mumbai, which is on display at Jaiho Museum or Art Gallery, which is at Terminal 2 of Mumbai International Airport. In the domestic departure area, there is a huge gallery, art gallery, where you can see many artifacts made from the waste and all that. This one is quite interesting. This entire map of South Mumbai is made by one young sculptor and artist. His name is Akshay Rajpurkar, who lives in Mumbai. He went through Bhindi Bazar area, tapped all the illegal dismantlers, and collected all kinds of small buttons and everything from them, and constructed this very innovative map of South Mumbai. It is still on display. Whenever you happen to travel and go through terminal to the domestic departure, you will definitely come across this map there. There are many crazy people in India. Let me tell you, they do all kind of jugaad, and they will manage this e-waste. There is another person, Haribabu Natesaran, who has made this auto rickshaw from electronic waste. Flamingos, I think these are on display in Navi Mumbai. I don't know the exact location where it is, but it is there. See, look at this. So these are some, innovative ideas which can be implemented, which can be used. Shikhar Dhawan Foundation in Bangalore, I think it is in Bangalore. They have made this monument made up of from electronic waste. So the objective of this interaction today was to engage and encourage you in the problem solving and innovation, to collaborate and think critically, leveraging your diverse perspectives and experiences to develop solutions that are not only environmentally sustainable, but also economically viable and socially inclusive. The active involvement of communities in e-waste management holds immense potential for creating a sustainable future. And this is where our role becomes very crucial. As I mentioned earlier already, there are many people. In Pune, I can quote one example. There is one company called Purnam Ecovision. They, along with other collaborators, KPIT and other organizations, Rotary clubs, they are organizing massive e-waste collection drives in Pune, Pimpri Chinchwad, and all surrounding areas, and they are getting very good response. Now, talking about this Purnam Ecovision, see how these young minds think critically and how they find problem solving or innovative solutions. At Purnam Ecovision, I have visited the place. What they do is they take the old and worn out devices, which are seemingly irreparable, but they have got a workshop in their place where they repair those devices, laptops particularly, and these repair devices are donated to the school children in the rural areas. They do not have access to the laptops and all that, but they need the electronic gadgets. So they are doing this kind of work and many other initiatives they have taken at Purnam Ecovision. You can visit their website and you'll get all the details of that. So something like this can be done in the communities. In Mumbai also, there are many such organizations who are actively involved in e-waste collection, and collected e-waste can be given to the recycling companies. There are quite a few companies around Mumbai. Uh, I would like to provide their contacts also. So whenever you organize, or you can contact me, in fact, whenever you want to organize e-waste collection drives, you collect certain amount of e-waste, call those people there, give them a phone call. They will send their vehicle. They will collect whatever waste that you have collected. There are some companies who have tied up with big corporates, so they periodically go there, collect the e-waste and recycle it. But for smaller scale also, they do this. They will send their vehicle. They will take it away. So it is essential for us to have this e-waste collection drives. Engaging the communities in e-waste management offers numerous benefits. It raises awareness about detrimental effects of improper e-waste disposal and encourages responsible practices from an early age. By understanding the environmental and health hazards associated with e-waste, you can make informed decisions and take proactive measures to minimize their impact. These are the references. There are, of course, many available on Google. So thank you very much. I thank IWSA once again for giving this opportunity to interact with you all. And I hope that within such a short period of time, I have been able to at least convey some important message across. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Your talk was so lucid, so well
Thank
you have
you.
explained. I think every citizen needs to hear you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very
Excellent
much.
talk and commendable job. You have gone to the, deeper levels to find out every